Hello, this is Nick from Breaker Press Games, and today I want to talk about why I think conventions are awesome. Alright, so before we get into it, I want to talk about how you can support Breaker Press Games further. If you're into this video or the other videos that we have done, please like and subscribe. It makes a huge difference in the algorithm. You hear everybody talk about that. It is a real thing. It makes a huge difference. You can also support Breaker Press Games by going to our web store and picking up a t-shirt or one of our zines, pamphlets, adventures. All of those are available through there, as well as through Goodman Games, Noble Knight Games, Exalted Funeral, Drive-Thru RPG, and itch.io. So whether you're looking for PDF or you're looking for physical, the options are out there for you. There is one other way that you can support Breaker Press Games. Were you always wishing that you were a member of the KISS Army or of the Misfits Fiend Club and hoping to get cool stuff in the mail? Well, it just so happens that you can be a noble Stenardite by joining the Breaker Press Patreon. If you become a member of the Breaker Press Patreon, you get something cool in the mail every month. Like this month's reward is Outlying Farms. And that is a collection of NPC families that have farmsteads. There's even this really cool random generator of 8 different farm styles. And if you become a member, you'll also get one of these cool brand new holographic stickers. As well as, I've got a few copies. The next 3 people will get a Hillwood character creation guide, which is available on Drive-Thru RPG for pay what you want, but is also something that it basically goes through character creation, but themed to the settlement of Hillwood Camp outside of Stennard. It's got its own personality and advantages and disadvantages, so check that out. So become a member of our Patreon and get cool stuff in the mail every month at $5 and above. Okay, let's talk about conventions, because that's where we're really here. All right, so I just recently attended GameholeCon, and so I've got conventions on the brain. Additionally, Midwinter and GaryCon, which are other Midwest cons, are coming up very soon. And I know when I say January and March, it doesn't sound very soon, but they are going to be on us before you know it. So, first and foremost, before I get into why I think they're awesome, just so I don't forget, Midwinter is January 11th through 14th of 2024 in Pewaukee, Wisconsin, which is about 20-25 minutes outside of Milwaukee. And then GaryCon is March 21st through 24th of 2024 in Lake Geneva, which is about an hour outside of Milwaukee. All right, so let's talk about actual conventions and why it's awesome to go to them. So first and foremost, this is, I know it seems like a no-brainer, but other people are going to be like, but I got plenty of friends. It is a way to build new friendships. In our adult lives, it is much harder to make friends than it was when we were younger. And it just so happens that when you sit down at that table, there is a deep connection that you have with each one of these people, and that is gaming. You might not have anything else in common with the people at your table, but that's a start, and that is a place where you can build community. Now, I found that when I moved to Milwaukee, it was hard making friends. So I went to punk shows and I went to gaming conventions because those were the places where I knew that I could build community and find people that were into the things that I was also into. So, highly recommended from that regard, especially if you're not living in the same town that you grew up in. Go out, find your people. Additionally, it is a way to improve play. So, seeing others engaging with, engaged in playing games, it is going to inspire you in ways that you didn't know that they could. You're gonna, you get used to playing with the same people all the time, and their play style is usually consistent and doesn't change. and you go out into the world and you start to engage with other people, and all of a sudden you see people doing things you never expected. I remember when I went to Midwinter the second or third time, I was running the Precipice of Corruption, and I've told this story before. Person at my table, they were playing a fortune teller, and so they were like, oh, I've got story cubes in my pocket. And at one point, where they were trying to divine some information, they decided to just take the story cubes out of their pocket, roll them on the table, and ask me to interpret them. You know, I think when I first started GMing again, that level of improv would have, set me back a little bit. But in that moment, I felt challenged in a good way, and it was awesome. And it was something that will stick with me forever. Now, as a player, this can you could be the person that saw that and be like, oh man, I want to try that with my GM at my table, that when I play with my judge or GM. Or you might hear somebody talking in a funny voice, or do something clever and think, oh man, I should try that. So you never know how you're going to be inspired or what you're going to take away, but gaming with other people just in general improves your play, even if it's just something as procedural. You never know what's going to happen, but you're going to encounter something that you probably haven't encountered before. If you are a content creator, let's say you write your own adventures or come up with your own, special rules and what have you, or even wrote your own game, it is an opportunity to test your work. So yeah, if you've written a game or an adventure, it is your best opportunity to take it out into the wild and see how people interact with it. There is the next step above that is to see somebody actually run your work. Which is something that is, there's nothing better than seeing somebody run your work from the standpoint of, oh wow, somebody liked my stuff enough to run it out in the wild, but also seeing somebody else run your work in order to see what they miss, or what you forgot to include, where they had to interpret things. But when you're running it at the table and seeing people interact with it, you can be like, this encounter is awesome. People really had a good time with this, and this encounter's a stinker. Maybe I should tweak it a little because, it was too hard, or, there weren't enough clues, or what have you. It's a great way to see your stuff in the wild and be able to take that feedback back and polish your work. Cons are also a way to meet your favorite authors, your favorite company owners, your content creators, YouTubers, and podcasters. This is a place where everybody is thrown into the mix, and there is something magical, in my opinion, about actually meeting the people that you admire, because it demystifies them. And you're like, hey, this person that I've put on this pedestal, they're a normal person just like me. And I think that is one of those barriers that when it gets broken down, you think to yourself, wait, I could be just like them. I could be a YouTuber. I could be a podcaster. I could be an author or a game designer. This is something that I think is really important. And, I learned that not from gaming conventions, but from punk rock. When you're at a show and it's in a basement or at a bowling alley instead of in, an arena, you are on the same level with your peers, and it creates that synergy where you think, I'm a part of this as much as they're a part of this, and I can go out into the world and do this thing too. That's why the DIY punk scene was a huge influence on me, in the same way that gaming was a huge influence on me. And then it is also, gaming conventions are also an opportunity to engage with other systems. You might be curious about Shadow Dark, or you might be curious about Dungeon Crawl Classics. Maybe you're learning about Dungeon Crawl Classics from my videos, but you've never actually played the game. and you want to, you're anxious, and so you want to play it before you actually run it for your friends or what have you, it is an opportunity to sit down at a table and play, Shadow Dark. In the case of GameholeCon, people got to sit down with Kelsey Dion, the creator of Shadow Dark, and play the game. You can come to GameholeCon or coming up Midwinter or GaryCon and sit down at my table and play my Stenner DCC content with me. And yeah, it is an opportunity to try out all sorts of cool new games and systems, and that can take, you can end up walking away from that thinking, oh, I want to run this game, or this game is awesome. Or you might just be like, oh, the light rules in Shadow Dark are awesome, I'm gonna import that into my game. So yeah, it is a wonderful opportunity to experience other systems and other rules, etc. So those are my reasons to go to conventions. I think there are so many more, but those are the big ones for me. I hope if you've never been to a gaming convention, you watch this and consider going. Yes, you will occasionally bump into somebody that you're like, oh, that guy was a little rough. But they are few and far between, and the benefits far outweigh, the running into the occasional turd. So yeah, maybe that word was a little harsh, but occasionally that happens. But go. Look up your local gaming convention, find out what's coming up, and just go. Experience something new. Go outside of your comfort zone. Once again, I want to reinforce, I will be at Midwinter Gaming Convention in Pewaukee, Wisconsin, January 11th through 14th of 2024. Go and sign up now. In fact, sign up for my games, but also maybe consider running a game of your own. And then March 21st through 24th is GaryCon in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. It is a bigger convention and a great opportunity to run into. And I should add that as well. If you are kind of intimidated, you only know of, let's say, gaming conventions from the context of Gen Con. GaryCon is miles smaller than something like Gen Con. So if you think that Gen Con would be overwhelming, try something smaller like GaryCon, or go smaller still and find a local convention like Midwinter that I'm going to be at in Pewaukee. It's a great opportunity to build up to, and I'm going to say this too, because this is something that I actually do. The first time that I went to Midwinter, I needed to scope it out. I had just moved to Milwaukee at the time, and found out that 2 weeks after I had moved to Milwaukee that there was a gaming convention happening. So I just decided to pop in on the Sunday and just wander around. You don't have to play the first time out. You can just scope it out. But honestly, it is a fantastic opportunity to make those new friends, demystify your idols, and to improve your play. So check it out. Go to a gaming convention. This is Nick from Breaker Press Games. Thank you for supporting indie games and indie game designers. And like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.